We'd like to thank BetChrisCanada.net for their support of the Hockey Betting Podcast. I'm Brian Blessing in sunny Las Vegas.
And I'm Cam Stewart in cold Toronto, Canada.
If you love hockey and you're in Canada, and Cam is, by the All-Star break, even if you can't stop thinking about taking a vacation someplace sunny and warm, but you don't want to miss out on any of the hockey action, look for a BetChris near your next holiday destination.
BetChris is one of the leading sports books in the Western Hemisphere, with hundreds of sports betting locations throughout the Caribbean and Latin America.
Watch the game at a BetChris location. Food and drink specials and VIP lounges are available at many BetChris locations. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open your BetChris account.
Place some bets on your game and collect your cash at the window when the game is over.
BetChris offers single bets, parlay bets, teasers, and more on pregame and live odds for hockey and all your favorite Canadian and American sports leagues. And BetChris offers a variety of team and player props, including futures.
BetChris offers the best value odds on Canadian and international sports. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open up your account at a BetChris location. Deposit $750 or more and get up to a 40% reduced commission on your sports bets, up to minus 106 on single bets and parlay bets. That's the best juice in the biz.
So, if you're planning a trip to exotic locations from the Caribbean and Mexico to Peru and almost everywhere in between, the odds are very good. There's a BetChris Sportsbook where you're going on holiday. For more information about visiting a BetChris location while you're on holiday, or to listen to or subscribe to the Hockey Betting Podcast, visit BetChrisCanada.net. That's BetChrisCanada.net. Cam, you're Canadian. When you leave Canada and you're heading south, use the promo code PODCAST.
You're listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net. This is the Hockey Betting Preview for Thursday, October 3rd, 2019. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing.
We love doing it. Brian Blessing in Las Vegas. Cam Stewart, he's north of the border. It is time to talk NHL like a kid on Christmas morning. Season open on Wednesday. 4 games. We've got home openers to deal with. We got home and home sets. We're getting a brand new campaign underway, and things really going to heat up Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Boatloads of hockey. It doesn't get any better than that. You fired up, Cammy?
I love it, Brian. And let's talk. I know we did the preview show out of the gate. We came out hot. Vegas gets it done on the puck line. The Leafs on the puck line over in the Leafs game. It was a great opening night. A lot of the time, you just come out and you need a bankroll for the season. It's a good way to roll. But, looking at Thursday's card, we got some tough matchups and some teams that I thought might be slight dogs or slight favorites. It looks like the books put out some pretty tight lines.
It's funny. Of the games tonight, I got 2 games.
Yeah.
2 games that I got a firm opinion on. So,
yeah, you're right.
To that end, I think that tells you something, because you and I have always we've been together doing stuff now for, my God, Cam, think about
20 years.
No. We're gaining on it. 2005.
Yeah, 15 years. Yeah, it's been a long time since we went to the Big Tree, and you saw basically Morency take a leak in a parking lot. You're like, I'm going to show with these guys. I got the redheaded albino there. He's eating 70 wings. His partner's out there in the bush with Ryan Miller taking a leak, and you're going, wow, we got a great radio to shoot. Go Bills. Buffalo.
I literally went back to the car, got two soup cans and a 40-foot string, and going, I'll do it with you, but I'm not going to stand anywhere near you.
Yeah, you're like, wow.
But for 2 reasons. For 2 reasons. A, I didn't want to be seen with you, and B, I wasn't sure which way the wind was blowing.
Good call. Good call. You're right. We've had some good times. We had a lot of fun at the Big Tree there that day, and yeah, no, Brian, I'll tell you something, though. You're absolutely.
But the numbers are getting better, is the point. We've been doing this forever.
Yeah.
Hockey's the best sport to bet.
It is.
They're paying. You know why, Cam?
People are betting.
They didn't care.
Yeah.
They didn't care. It was 1% of the handle. It was a throwaway. Limits were 500. They could care less if they lost on a hockey game. They had bigger fish to fry. Yep. I'm telling you, specifically in Vegas.
We went down there, Brian, and I learned, when we saw our good buddies. We saw Mark Lawrence, who says hi, by the way. We have him on our show, and Teddy Savransky. And I see these kids rolling in during the betting conference with Vegas Golden Knight gear and stuff. And we talked to Tony Miller. I talked to, when I'm at the El Cortez and the D and other stuff, I talk to people. They're like, people are betting hockey now. I used to be that idiot that walked around with my hockey jerseys. Hey, there's a Canadian guy with his hockey jerseys when me and Lisa go. And now we're going to casinos, and we're seeing hockey games on the big screen with basketball on the little. Like, things have changed big time. You're right.
It's insane.
They're only going to care when people start betting this stuff, and they need a side. Now these numbers are sharp. We used to smash hockey. Like, last night we did well, but I'm looking at these lines going, I'm very, very surprised. And I got to give the books a lot of credit. They got people who actually know what they're doing now, and it's going to be tougher, Brian, but we've been in this game a long time. We'll still find an edge.
Well, real quick, we want to look ahead. But I say, we like to think we know what we're doing when it comes to hockey because we're passionate about it. And we've been doing this for 15 years. Everybody's just jumping into the pool now. Yeah. I'd say we've been doing it 15 years together. We've both been doing it for over 30.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, but here's the deal. The Vegas thing was low-hanging fruit. Now, bad news. I mean, Nate Schmidt, if they lose him to a knee injury it's serious, that's a monster loss for a really good team because other than Theodore, I don't know where offense comes from on the blue line. But that was 5 months. 5 months, Vegas with a stone in their shoe, just waiting for these guys the way that season ended. San Jose had no shot. And then right before, Kane gets suspended. And then right before the game, Erik Karlsson did not play for personal reasons. We'll see if he plays on Friday night. But I will say, and Vegas could have won by a lot more. Jones had a really good second period.
And I told you about San Jose at the start of the year. Like, they're a good team, but they're also really close. It's like that football team that has good veterans. How's Karlsson going to play, Brian? He was beat down last year. You have an inconsistent goaltender in Jones and a lot of aging guys. You talk about it. These San Jose Sharks should be sponsored by All Brand and Metamucil because they got guys who are old on that team. And hockey's a game, it's a young man's game. It's going to beat you down over the season. And that's what happens in the playoffs. Like, guys are going to get hurt as the season progresses. Basically, winning the Stanley Cup is a war of attrition. Who's left standing there, right? Because guys are going to get knocked out. You need to be deep, and that's the thing. Like Vegas, I think Vegas is so much better than San Jose. But you're right. It's the start of the year, and it's something to watch for sure.
Well, here's the thing. It nailed it. Only because it was easy, and I mean that sincere. It was like, don't lay the $1.90. This is a puck line game. Yeah. Take the plus 55, run to the bank. But I did. I handicapped and have talked about the two games because it's a home and home set. And I said, I thought Vegas was a 5-1 winner. That was what I kind of thought. It ends up being 4-1. It was a very, very, very easy night for Marc-Andre Fleury. So I said, I like Vegas on the puck line of game one, but it's not going to be an easy night in their home opener. And generally home and home sets, the team that loses the first game comes back with a way better effort. I love the over in the next game, and because this was a 4-1 game, that total's going to come down. So it's a gift. I think it's a gift from the gods. We got the first one right, but I'd be looking for goals in the next one.
I agree. And another thing is, you talk about a 4-1 final, and Brian, everybody and their mother was betting the over in that game. You go on professional sites, guys. A lot of cappers you respect. 6.5. Vegas, this feels like a 6-4 type of hockey game. Well, it went under the number. The Leafs Ottawa game, we talked would have gone over there. It did go over the number. So we were pretty good with the totals, and I agree 100%. Jones stood on his head there. They could have scored way more goals in that game, and I'll tell you, it's going to get even feistier between these two teams. We're going to get special teams. We're going to get power plays, and I agree with you. If we get a 5.5 or a 6, it's a smash play. It will go over the second time.
And here's the other thing, the Nate Schmidt injury, this will fall through the cracks. No one will even talk about it. But basically, you're going to have a kid who was recalled prior to the game. One of the rookies fought his way into the ride. They got two kids, Jimmy Schultz and Nick Hague. So one of them has got to come into play for Nate Schmidt, and it's going to upset their pairings. And one of these kids is going to be playing his first NHL game against a pissed-off San Jose team in their home opener. Fleury is going to be swarmed on Friday night. It's a completely different game.
No, I agree with you 100%. Angry team, young player, got to log minutes, and that's what happened even with the Leafs game. You're watching it in the opener. What do they have? They have a lot of young defensemen. Boom, Ottawa scored seconds into that game, right? And it's set up for an over there. And I think that could be the exact same thing that's going to happen with San Jose and Vegas play. You said it, Brian. These teams hate each other, and it's real. The way Vegas got bowed out to these guys with the horrible reffing or whatever, it's actually beautiful for hockey. Vegas has been in the league a couple of years, and they got a better rivalry with the Sharks than many teams who have been in this league for a lot of time have, because it's based. Sometimes rivalries are fake. This one's real. They've met each other in the postseason every year. There's been major injuries. There are big disappointments on both sides. No, it's a real good rivalry, but you're right. San Jose, they're going to try to take advantage of Vegas and the young defensemen, dump in the puck, smash these guys around. It's going to be a very, very violent game that sets up penalties and that sets up overs. And, I'm with you 100%. That'll be a must play. But I'll tell you, Brian, the Thursday card, some of these games are pretty tough. I don't know. We got to find something out there. It's
no, I want to get to Thursday, but I want to just a couple quick notes from last night. Again, we talk about great angles that just work. We talk about the dad's trip.
Mm-hmm.
Now 3 games, even 4 nights.
The mom's trip too. Sometimes they do
dads or
trip, or dads or moms. You do the parents trip, but it's in.
But the other great one, I mean, it's ridiculous. In fact, I was doing a different radio show with a guy, and he's one of the, how do you say it?
You can spit.
How do you say it? I'm trying to think how to say it politely. He's like, to each their own.
Yeah.
He's like a number cruncher and an algorithm guy.
They're sabermetrics nerds. I deal with them every day.
So I'm doing this thing leading up to the game, and I said, well, there's just an angle that's it's insane. It's like 7. He said, well, do you have exact numbers on? I said, no, I don't have exact numbers on. But it's like, I'm like, it's like 75, 80%. And I'm not kidding you. Oh, you can't. That can't be. I said, well, yeah, it can be.
Yes.
I don't think if they're skating on plastic or frozen water. All right, please, let me just tell you that you just automatically play the road team when there's a ceremony in hockey. Yeah. And the Blues raise the banner. They come out of the gate. They get a couple of goals. They get a goal 25 seconds in. The rest of the game, Washington bites back, wins the game 3-2 in overtime. So now it's 82%. And you stand there and explain it. It's like, pardon me, just trust me when I tell you, you play the road team when there's a ceremony in hockey.
Yeah, this is the thing about this, and we're in this new world, and I got a lot of respect for these guys. A lot of them work at my network. Hey, they've won millions of dollars in contests. It takes money to win money, but also to become a good capper, you can throw everything into a supercomputer, and a lot of guys we respect do, and they come up with the numbers. But you cannot ignore intangibles. You cannot ignore things that are happening. Guys who are coming off a long road trip, your wife comes back, hey, we got problems with the kid. What happened here? Da-da-da-da-da. You know what I mean? In football, you look at, like a perfect example, homecoming week. You're taking the family on a tour of the school. You're doing this. You're out of your rhythm. Professional athletes are creatures of habit. We go eat chicken at this time. We go to bed. We have a pregame nap. It's very, very true, especially in hockey. These guys are the biggest creatures of habit. I've interviewed them all, Brian, when I did the Stanley Cup trip. So, guys, I get it. You can throw numbers into your supercomputer. It's a very good thing to do, but don't ignore intangibles. It takes old school and new school thinking to come up with betting concepts and winners.
Just out of curiosity, Cam, and that was just off the top of my head. I wasn't like, howling at the moon, like exaggerated. Do you think I'm right? I think it's I think it's at least in the 70% range.
It's over 70. I'd say it's closer to, I think it's mid 70s, closer to 80%. The parents' trip has been a great call.
That's 80%.
If the parents' trip feels like about 85%. Another one.
And by the way, they're all dogs.
Yes.
The majority of them are barking dogs.
And the Florida two-step, a lot of the time, you lose to the Panthers, you get one with Tampa Bay. There's things that have been going on in hockey for a long time. I'm not saying they're going to work all the time. The Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary trip, there's things that you have to focus on when you're capping these games, and a lot of barns are tougher to play than others. You're right. You're absolutely right, my friend. I agree 100%.
All right, one more quickie on last night. Edmonton gets a win. I know you weren't happy.
That was a lucky win, by the way.
But here's the thing. Edmonton gets the win over Vancouver, right? But it's McDavid gets a goal. Draisaitl gets. Wait a minute. Draisaitl gets an assist and 2 goals. That's it. Is it really what we're looking at again? That it's McDavid and Draisaitl against everybody every night?
Yeah, and the problem is, too, Edmonton, I watched that game there. They came out like a house on fire, Brian. They get that early goal. After that, Vancouver dominated. They were all over these guys. They like at the end of the period, Edmonton was breathing, like on life support. They got so lucky. I'll give Mike Smith credit. That's game number one, buddy. That's game number one. If it's Cam Talbot, Vancouver probably wins that game. But Mike Smith, moving over from Calgary to Edmonton, the provincial team, he played really good, and he made some, don't even look at the numbers. The saves that he made were spectacular, and that's the thing about Mike Smith. He's an all-or-nothing guy. He could be an absolute sieve and let in 7 and get pulled, but when he's on, he's on, and he was on that last night. And let me tell you something, Brian. It's one game in, but the Vancouver Canucks, if they get any type of goaltending from Markstrom, will be a play-on team. They were very, very unlucky. They should have beat Edmonton in that game by a couple goals. They just ran into a hot goaltender, and it's going to happen in hockey. That's one thing about this sport, different than other sports. You can outshoot a team. Hey, look at the Sabres in the preseason, the game we won in overtime, but they outshot Pittsburgh 52-16. They should have won that game by 9 goals. The minute Buffalo changed their goalie, goal, Pittsburgh, goal, Pittsburgh, goal. And we're sitting there going, are you kidding me? We're outshooting this team by 40 shots, and we might lose this game. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
It happens, people.
All right, let's get on to Thursday night. Now, here's the thing. Florida, Tampa Bay. Tampa's laying $1.75.
Yeah.
And the total 6.5. Now, Florida, we're going to get things rolling. We got a new coach. We got a new goalie. They play a home and home with Tampa. Good luck. Congrats. Nice way to start a new campaign.
That's tough. I want to take the Panthers. And actually, one of these years, Brian, all the pundits, Florida, my dark horse. Florida, my dark horse. It's going to be different, though. With Coach Quenneville there, these guys aren't going to screw around. I really like their team. I think they got stars on the team, too. Now you got goaltenders. Barkov's always been an animal. Tampa Bay, though, tough spot. The ill will, losing to Columbus in the playoffs. They're going to come out angry. Arguably the best team in the league. I can tell you one thing, though. I don't want to lay 75, 80 cents with the Lightning. I'm going to be looking for Florida as a dog, but it's hard to pull the trigger in this spot.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm steering clear of it. It'll be a watch. I think Tampa, I will say this, bud. Tampa Bay could have a stone in their shoe.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I'm looking at the schedule. If Florida played any other team but Tampa Bay, I'd be probably lining up with the Panthers. But this is just the way it goes. It's a horrible spot for them against a team that arguably is the best in the league, angry from losing in the first round of the playoffs. Like, it's a bad spot for the Panthers. I'd love to pull the trigger at plus 155. That's a great price.
Honestly, bud, the more I'm thinking about this, Tampa Bay on the puck line might be a play. I mean, they had a historic season last year, and then coughed up a lung and were golfing after 4 playoff games. They could take out a summer of frustration on Florida in one, and it's just a game. It's not going to be indictment.
It's a great price.
It's like Vegas murdering San Jose was a gimme.
Yes,
and it's no indictment on San Jose. And I think maybe Tampa Bay taking these guys to the woodshed would be no indictment of Florida either.
There's 2 ways to play this game, and we both did it, and we went 2-0 with it on opening night. You either take Tampa Bay in a parlay and find another dance partner on the card, or you take Tampa Bay minus 1.5 plus 151. That's the way to play it. I will not lay 75 or 80 cents of juice in a hockey game, no matter how good Tampa Bay is. It has to be parlayed or taken on the puck line.
Hey, one more generic thing, and we honestly, this could be a 10-hour podcast, and we're not doing that.
Yeah, we got another 70 shows tonight. I know.
I'm serious. I mean, because we love talking about it, but it's funny. I was talking. I did the VSiN thing last night. And they're going through the cars, and it's like the question, like, well, who do you like for the Cubs? I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't bet a future. With monopoly money. You can't bet a Stanley Cup future until the trade deadline, and you actually know who the teams are.
Yeah.
All right, so that's one, throw that away. But the other one, to me, I don't think it makes any sense whatsoever when you look at the menu that's available in front of you. I think you're out of your mind if you're taking a big picture, long-term approach. You should never, and I mean the word never lay more than 25 or 30 cents in hockey, because there are plus prices everywhere.
Yeah, it's good. That's even more discipline. I usually have a rule, Brian, around 40 or 50, but and I respect you because we've been doing these shows a long time, and a lot of the time, I'm willing to lay the juice. You're always finding a way. You know what I mean? With the puck line, like perfect example, -1.5, +160, things like that. And the thing is, sure, you have to understand, yes, you can win those juice, the -145, -155, but over a long season, those puck lines add up. So when you're doing your math, it's kind of like what we've talked about with the NFL. And when Gabe and I do my show and we had Mark Lawrence on, we talk about it. Do you understand these teams that win outright as dogs win over 80% of the time? So you'd be a fool just to take points in a game. You have to sprinkle, find a system. Are you going to do a half a unit? Are you going to go 75-25? But you have to put money on underdog money lines.
I love the people, and I'm not throwing stones. This is just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say, yeah, I'm 40-26 to start the hockey season. Yeah, well, of those 40, how many of them are $1.60 favorite? The 24 losses, how many of those were $1.60 favorites? So you might be 40-24, but you're minus $400.
Exactly. That's the thing. You can manipulate statistics any way you want to fit your plan. And I'm not saying, hey, people are just getting into the business. A lot of new people, they're joining, wagering, they're getting into it. But these are things that we've done, and it's taken me time to Brian. It looks great. When you get a team at plus, you got that security. But I'm just saying, when you do the math and you go over it, always try to turn a minus into a plus. Live betting has been great now. You almost want in a game, if you like a favorite, you want the dog to score the first time. Like, beautiful things that you can do, but it's a patience game. A lot of the time, I'm sorry, you can't have your family over and they're chirping in your ear and stuff. It takes a lot of concentration. You have to break down the mathematics. You can win this game. It's just, you got to do your due diligence.
For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today simply by going to the website, betchriscanada.net. All right, Pally, let's go. Montreal, Carolina. Here's a perfect one. Carolina's $1.55, plus 35 on Montreal. Total on the game's a mixed bag, 5.5s and 6s.
Yep.
I'm not going to do it, Cam, but I do think over the course of the season, I think Carolina overachieved last year.
I agree with you 100%.
I think Montreal is heading the right way.
Mm-hmm.
It would be Montreal for nothing for me in this game. I'm staying away because it's a home opener, but if you're asking me over the course of time who's a better team, I'm saying Montreal.
I agree with you. Montreal, you're getting 40-45 cents. Yeah, Carolina, the bunch of jerks. It was a good story. I get it. They're at home, though. That's the one thing. If this game was being played game 27 instead of opener, I'd be all over the Montreal Canadiens.
Bingo.
First of all, Carey Price can win a game by himself. We saw Mike Smith win a game for Edmonton last night when they got outplayed. So you know what? I'm going to be, for me, it's Montreal or nothing. I might pass. Got to be very selective. It was a good opening night. I'm not going to bet every game on the card. We got to be selective, but I will not lay 60 cents with the Hurricanes. I would look at Montreal at 40 or 45 cent dog. I think that's a really nice price. And Carey Price, Brian, he can win this game single-handedly. I lean Montreal.
All right, here's one I am playing. I said I got two on the card tonight. Winnipeg and the Rangers. Rangers are $1.20.
Yep.
The total on the game is 6. I thought the Rangers may do a much bigger mix and match. And Lundqvist is going to get the start here in the over. But the story coming into this game, Winnipeg, as far as I'm concerned, have no defenseman.
They don't.
They have no one. It's absolutely unbelievable that they have none. They've lost their top 4 defensemen. They have to make a trade at some point. It's got to happen. It hasn't happened. You got Liney and Connor. They got signed. Little is out with a concussion. But Winnipeg has a boatload of talent up front, and they have no defensemen. And the Rangers have some new offensive toys, and I got to go over the total of 6 in the game. I slight lean to the Rangers.
I got to lean the Rangers, too. I like the over. And the line's telling you. The line's.
I like the over.
The line's 620. Like, it's over 6 with -120 juice. These guys aren't stooges. They understand. The Winnipeg Jets have tons of injuries. What will they do? They will still score on the Rangers. I see it like a 5-4 type of overtime hockey game. I see 9 goals in this game. It's going to be very tight. Give me the Rangers. I wish they weren't 25-cent favorites, but I love the over as well. Give me over 6. Okay.
There you go. Now, this is an intriguing game. Buffalo and Pittsburgh.
I almost want to take Buffalo, Brian, and I'm not just saying that because you're the guy.
I know,
I
buddy.
think the Penguins are overrated, personally.
I agree with that. Pens are $1.80, total 6.5 under. New head coach, new regime, a lot of the same guys. Sabres, some new pieces are playing there. Crosby got nicked up. He is going to play. Rust got hurt. He's on injured reserve. The thing that just keeps me away from it, Cam, is Pittsburgh has been a house of horrors for Buffalo. But I think it's an intriguing game, and I think they got a puncher's chance. I think the Sabres are going to be better, but it all comes down to goaltending. And as of today, Cam, they haven't said whether Ullmark or Hutton's the starter. So sometimes if you got two, you got none.
I agree.
You know?
It's a big problem. The Sabres are a young team. They're getting better. I still think the goaltending issue, it's got to be better than last year. It was atrocious. It was a train wreck, to be honest with you. I'm not laying $1.85 with Pittsburgh. I actually think Buffalo has a chance. If you can find on your book the regulation play plus a half puck, you're probably getting even. I don't think you're going to have to lay juice. Maybe the game goes to overtime. If you want to play it that way, I'm probably going to pass on the game as well, Brian. Kind of lean over in the game, too, with the 6. I think the Sabres can score. But, you know what? We're not going to reach. I'm going to pass on this game. Maybe I'll get a feeling a little bit. But it's a tough game. It's a very tough game. But I would not be laying $1.85.90 on the Penguins.
Let me throw a name at you that you go, wow. No, I'm just telling you. I begged for this kid to come up last November, and Bottrell just didn't do it. And, oh, by the way, they ended up going on that 10-game winning streak. And were first overall and then fell off the planet, and the season was going nowhere, so they just said, no, we're not going to do it. Brought him up the tail end of last year, and he fit right in. Victor Olofsson, this kid played. He hit a 30-goal scorer in the AHL last year. Not only does he make the team, he's playing on the first line with Eichel and Reinhart, and he's on the number 1 power play unit on the off wing. Guy's got an incredible shot. Nobody's ever heard of him. I'm just telling you. Watch out for a kid named Victor Olofsson in Buffalo.
I like that call. No, and a lot of people, I might I'm going to dip my beak into different things and play DFS hockey, and that's how you win. That's how you win money, Brian. You get these guys that no one's heard of playing on top lines for bargain basement prices in the quarter bin. Next thing you know, the guy's got a couple points, and you're winning a couple grand in these DFS tournaments because no one knows who the hell he is.
This one's all you, babe. I'm, Minnesota, Nashville.
I'm in. I'm all in. I'm going to tell you something. I think the Minnesota Wild suck. I think you talk about old, me and you, we're getting old. That team's getting old. The story, it's a shame. It's a good hockey town, Minnesota. They got great fans there. Nashville, home opener. I don't want to lay 70 cents, but we talked about a dance partner. We talked about the Lightning earlier. You parlay Tampa Bay and Nashville on the money line. You turn it into a plus. I'm down with it. I know Nashville, Minnesota might want to try to play that grinding game, try to eke out a 2-1 win. But come on, Brian. Like we look at this team. I just don't see anything from the Wild. Their stars are aging. They have nobody on their team that really impresses me. I think they're a franchise in a lot of trouble. Whereas Nashville, I think they have a lot to prove this year. Home opener. 70 cents is actually, I would have made Nashville almost a $2 favorite in this game. So give me Nashville.
Buddy, I told you, listen, Chuck Fletcher flushed this organization, and now he's going to flush Philly. And I said, I'm praying the Sabres have a GPS bracelet on Fletcher. Where'd he go? And this guy should be on speed dial because they fleeced him in every trade they ever made with him. And listen to this real quick. Zach Parise is 35.
I know.
He's making $7.5 million for 6 more years. They signed Matt Zuccarello, who I like a lot, but they give him 5 years, $30 million. Listen to their blue line. Suter's 34, and for 6 more years, you're paying him $7.5. And then Spurgeon is 29. He's making $7.5. Who's signing these contracts?
Honestly, come on, Minnesota. What are you going to do? It looks like they got Bart Simpson and Nelson Muntz doing their paperwork. You might want to get a kid from Harvard or MIT. It's called a salary cap there, numbnuts. No, that's just stupid. Suter already looks old. The guys you mentioned, Parise and Suter, could be on a senior team. And now you got to pay these guys for another 5 or 6 years. The Minnesota Wild, it's going to be a train wreck. Sure, they'll win a few games, as a home dog or whatever. I just think they're a team on the major decline. It sets up for Nashville. They're at home. The catfish is going to be flying. This is a team that's got, you talk about a bird in their saddle or a stone in their shoe, Nashville. they're one of the better teams, and I think they're going to come out and, sorry, Minnesota, like, I love Nashville. I think it's actually, Brian, as I said before, I would have made this line probably $2.20, $2. It's $1.70. I hope I'm not falling into a trap. I like the Predators.
Boston and Dallas, close to a pick'em, Cam, 5.5 under 30.
Tough game.
Is the Stanley Cup hangover a real thing?
It could be. I don't know. Dallas, the way they went out to St. Louis, they were very close to winning. Who knows? They could have gone to the Cup final. Boston's still pissed. The game's a pick'em. I kind of lean Boston. Dallas is one of those teams. I don't know what to do with this game, Brian. It's one of those things.
You know what?
It's very difficult.
I'd stay away.
I'm going to pass.
I'll stay away. But you know what? The more I'm thinking about it, you got two pretty good goalies there.
You do. Rask and Bishop under 5.5. I could buy into that. I'm not.
All right.
We'll see. But
they're better games.
There are better games, and I'm going to pass on that one.
And I think this is one. This is the other game I like tonight. Calgary, Colorado. Got the Avs laying 25-30 cents. You're looking at most places, the total. I did get it at 6 last night.
Wow, 6.5.
Most places, you're looking at 6.5. I like the over in this game. I think this is track meet city, baby.
Yeah, Calgary's going to want to play an upbeat style. So is Colorado. They got, in that air, lots to prove, too. First game of the season. That sounds like a lot of danger, Brian. Power plays, tired players, goals. No, there's everything. Like, you know what I mean? It used to be like a lock when the Denver Nuggets were playing at the, when teams weren't ready and in game shape. Like, just go in there. It's a real thing. A lot of these guys, they're in good shape, but they're still up at their buddy's cottage, Hey, Kegger, they're partying and stuff. They're not totally there where they need to be. They're not in midseason form. I'm with you. 6.5 is a number to try to deter people from betting it. I could see the Avalanche winning basically like a 6-3, 6-4 type of hockey game, Brian. What do you think about the side? You like Colorado?
I coin flip. I think Colorado's a nightmare. I think for a playoff matchup. Mm-hmm. I think over the course of 82 games, I think they're a really good team. I think they're more dangerous when you get to the playoffs. I know. By the way, we're just getting our legs going here with the podcast. I think you might be onto something. We said danger. I think maybe when we find that danger game, we'll call it our lost in space play.
Yes,
danger, Will Smith. Danger.
It is dangerous, man.
So the lost in space play tonight is Calgary and Colorado
over. And there's also, let's remember, Brian, go back in the hot tub time machine. Did these teams not play in the playoffs? Calgary was favored. Colorado knocked them out. They got a heavy dose of Nathan McKinnon, and Colorado really, they laid a statement down in that series. They were built for the playoffs. The Flames were too soft. This is regular season, so Calgary's going to come out angry. Colorado,
and I think the goalies are iffy. Yeah, I really do.
Oh yeah,
Rittich and Grubauer.
Yeah, Rittich, big save, Dave, not all the time, and Grubauer, he gets streaky, but he lets in soft goals too. Yeah, 6.5. They're trying to make you to bet the under in this game. I'm not, so I have a lean to the over in this game, and Colorado. Next game, Brian, I don't know what to do here. It's a home opener, but if this is another one too, if this game was not Anaheim's opener, I think I
may anyway.
I think I might anyway. Give me the damn Arizona Coyotes over they're better. The listless Peking Ducks. They're better. They're due for the oven, not the ice.
I will tell you, you know what though, Cam? That's again, just when we start talking and. You know what? Right out of the gate, you remember the first month of last year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You're not finding this in an algorithm. All right. The first month of last year, who was the best goalie in the NHL? It wasn't close. It was John Gibson standing on his head.
Gibson guitars, he was good.
Night.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wore down. The team sucked. But Gibson was, it was like he was Larry Vezina's nephew.
And hey, Arizona just signed Kemper, right? The 2-year deal the other night. Sure. Yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things to like in Arizona. Now, you could say, Phil Kessel likes street meat as much as me, and he's got the little boiler. Yeah, hey, can I think the Toronto hot dog vendor said Phil Kessel paid off his condo, but it's a different thing here. You've gone from street meat to the desert, and he will be great on the power play. That's one thing we know about Arizona. They got Keller, young players on that team. If you're Anaheim, you don't want to get in any trouble and set up Arizona on the power play. They're going to be one of those teams that I really think are going to be good with the man advantage. I'm going to take the Coyotes. It's even money right now. I'm howling, Brian. I think the Coyotes can beat the Ducks and ruin the home opener at the Honda Center. I'm in.
All right. And listen, we can't go through all these games, but just but let's go tomorrow.
Yep.
It's the start of an NHL season. It's not an issue early on. Everybody's fresh, But you're going to have a Winnipeg team playing back-to-back nights, albeit they're taking a bus ride, but you're getting the Devils in their home opener, and they're all psyched to see new faces. We got Chicago and Philly in God knows where. Where's that game?
Oh, yeah, Germany.
Oh, go ahead.
Sauerkraut, what? Oh, yeah.
It's all yours.
Alex, I like the Flyers versus the Blackhawks. I don't know who I like in that game.
I'll give you breaking news, and this happened 5 minutes ago, and only because it's over there and just to channel my inner Cam Newton. The Blackhawks have signed Alex DeBrincat to a 3-year extension.
I love that kid.
$2 million.
He's amazing. DeBrincat, he's a second-round pick. Are you kidding me? I don't want to that game, there's not going to be no defense in that game. Blackhawks versus Flyers? Come on. Even in Germany, I know Carter Hart is an upgrade, but I don't know, Brian. It's going to be interesting. In that game, too, you got Winnipeg on a back-to-back. We'll see what they do. Everyone's talking about the Devils, slight lean there. Washington wins their opener. I don't know about the Islanders. They're going to play against team this year. I'm not sure how things are going in the opener. Leafs versus – what do you think about Columbus this year? They're horrible. The Blue Jackets are going to be a horrible team. And we've already talked about it. We like the Vegas, San Jose over, penalties galore, special teams goals. And you know what? I get a better price with Vegas. I might take the Golden Knights in San Jose's barn as well.
All right. The other thing I would say, if they could get him an overbite, if we could get him the Charles Howell look, yeah, is it just me, or with each passing day, is Austin Matthews starting to look more and more like Freddie Mercury?
You know what I love too? I love these kids with their little dude, you're not a magician. You're an NHL player. Like those thin, kind of like creepy neighbor mustaches. You got to gas that, dude. I don't care how old you are. Like those thin, you know what I mean? The villain from cartoons. Like it doesn't work. We're watching the game last night. Like, who is this guy? You're right.
Boris and Natasha.
Yeah, Boris and Natasha parlay with Freddie Mercury. Hey, Austin Matthews, get some real facial hair. He had a big night though the other night. I'll give him that.
No, I mean, you're right about the Columbus thing.
The Blue Jackets are they're deplorable. They're going to be fade material all year, and I guess we got to get to them early before Vegas and New Jersey and the offshores figure this one out, right? Like it's going to be one of those things. Columbus, I don't think people realize that they've really taken a step back.
And then the one that we'll wrap it up with this, because like I said, we could go on for days. Mm-hmm. But does the league just feel sorry for the Kings? They just don't want to roll them out until Saturday?
Yeah, you talk about it. It's one of these saying, no, you're right, man. The Kings, yeah, they're more like the Jesters. And I'm going to tell you something, and Brian, those years of those playoff wars and Jonathan Quick and stuff, you can't maintain it over time.
No way.
Look at the teams. Chicago was amazing. They're getting older. It's tough. When you go to 7-game series in the National Hockey League playoffs and you're getting murdered out there night after night after night, I don't care what kind of person you are, your body's going to break down. And the Kings, they're old and slow. And, they're going to have a lot of problems this year. The LA Kings, it's that team's really like them and Anaheim. Like they're both pretty bad hockey teams, Brian.
But you know what? I will honestly. I saw actually. I mean, talk about taking one for the team. I actually saw the Kings twice in the preseason. Yeah, I'll say that out loud in public. And you know what though? They were flying. Really? They got kids. You still got the same older core, but the kids they brought and McClellan. Listen. He was good with Edmonton out of the gate.
I agree.
But you got McClellan going back to Edmonton? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Actually, you're right. If they play for him, that could be interesting. And people are going to be, Edmonton. They beat Vancouver, McDavid, Draisaitl. If you like the Kings, you'll get a nice price. That dog price will be inflated for fun.
All right. I think we covered it all there, didn't we?
You think? Yeah. I wish we had a schedule all the way through Sunday. We'll bang off every game. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, Brian. So what are we looking at here? I'm gonna parlay the Lightning and the Predators. I think the Arizona Coyotes are a nice pooch. Those are things we're going with, and the over. I really like your call with Calgary, Colorado. Should be 8 goals plus a total. If you got it at 6, great. 6.5. I see goals, and more goals there.
Yep, I like over in the Winnipeg Rangers game, over in the Calgary, Colorado game, and that's it for me. That's it for Cam. We could do this all day long. We hope you had a couple of chuckles, and hopefully we got you some good information.
You've been listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net.
For outstanding information and special offerings and promotions, we invite you and encourage you to sign up for our newsletter today simply by going to the website, BetChrisCanada.net.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction, as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At BetChrisCanada.net and the Hockey Betting Podcast, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling, an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling. And do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.